Student assignment. Let's talk about student assignment.
That's a very interesting issue that's been bubbling, and the report was given to the school district Board of Ed last week. And essentially, they've come up with 3 proposals. The first proposal is essentially local schools. The second proposal is essentially the mess that we have now. And the third proposal, the third option, is a zebra option. And that's where you have 3 stripes across the city, from one end to the other end. Okay? Mountains, hills, everything. Cross gang areas, just right there. And everyone within each of those stripes will be eligible for the schools. Okay, right. So there's a lot of busing that's going on, and they're going to take people by where they live. So a kindergartner comes in, and what the achievement rate was in your district over the past 3 years then becomes the priority for that kid. So that kid will get extra priority. Basically what they want to do is assort the kids all around, so you have kids who are not achievers, kids who are middle achievers within a school. All right, and that's the way to get around the integration issue. Right.
Well, I kind of like the mixed piece, because I think I've mentioned that in the past.
Right, and you're entitled. And you're entitled.
I don't like the zebra option, but I like the mixed.
The zebra option isn't going to work, and we don't have the money for all the busing. Right. And assorting people hasn't worked. Look at the schools now. We have low learners in there now, low achievers. They're not doing better because they're mixing with higher level kids. There's no proof that worked, and it's not going to work. The zebra option, you take off the stripes, you still just have an ass. Okay, that's what's left.
But I think I don't know. You look at Sunset and you look at Alvarado, that has a nice mix.
And you have all those middle-income kids coming in there, and the scores going up.
But the lower-income kid scores are coming up too.
No,
yeah, they are. I looked at the data.
Come on.
I've seen the data.
The
Miriam, how are you doing? Still doing good? Still doing okay.
The whole basis of it is that you have to really seriously look at option 1, which was just cast aside by the board. And option 1 says everyone has their local school. You can apply to other schools. So there's 2 types of schools. There is assignment schools and there's application schools. An application school is like Soda or Lowell,
right.
or a language program. So some schools will have some assignment application seats in it that people can apply to. Yeah. And you're assigned to your own school. You can apply to any school you want to. If you don't go in, you go to the school that you apply to. I mean, we can actually go and have kids register when they're born and be assigned to the school. But there's another aspect
there a lawsuit
of it.
Written all over option 1?
There's another aspect of it, and that's the preschool. They're considering having preschool priority. So that if you have a kid in a preschool that's in a building, let's say Grattan has a preschool in it, okay, not part of the school district, a preschool that's in it, that's run by the city. Right. Okay, and so if you have a kid in that, you'd have priority to get into Grattan, because a lot of low-income people are in these schools. But if that happens, how fast before the people who are in private preschool take that last warning in that last year and enroll in Grattan, even if they have to pay in order to get their kid priority in Grattan? There'd be a flood, and all those low-income kids could be pushed aside. Right. So what's the point of that?
Right.
How does that work?
It's quirky. I'm not saying, I don't know if it would, based on what, how you've analyzed it. It doesn't sound like it would. I see the point about the rich folks coming in and taking the seats. But can't you see a lawsuit all over number 1, though? Choice number 1,
I can see a lawsuit.
Very rigid, almost address-based.
I feel like I'm back in the 60s with number 3, all this crosstown busing stuff. Now, they said that there's 15 schools that have 80% one ethnic, 17 schools, and they're going to bring it down through this process to 12 schools. So 50... You're going to be down to like 40% one ethnic in 5 schools. And where are they going to take all these people from? You want somebody to go an hour and a half on the bus, have car sickness both ways? Oh, what a way to enrich a kid. Right. I just don't see it.
But they don't necessarily now. I mean, I know there are some kids who get bused quite far.
Okay.
There are a number, particularly the older you get.
And the special ed kids who are denied
yes.
inclusion, if we put inclusion in every school, all of a sudden that $15 million maybe shrink down to $3 or $4 million. Look how much money we can pick up by doing real inclusion. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to use the resources that we have and use it wisely. If we take the same money and we put it into reading programs for kindergartners, first grade, and second grade, and teach multisensory reading and several other techniques that are needed for dyslexic learners and other learners, we get a much greater return on our investment really quick. It makes sense to do that. It'll cost us less money. We'll save money. We don't have extra money.
Nobody has. I mean, public schools are under attack.
Public schools are definitely under attack.
You know, and
from Washington.
From Washington on down. And that won't change in the foreseeable future.
No, that's why we have to be very diligent in using the resources that we have and generate revenue where we can. You know that it's not going to be long before parents are going to be paying for busing if you're not on free or reduced lunch. You know that the fact that you're taking your kid and you're going to an after-school program on a city bus, you're going to be charged soon. Okay? And you should be. And you should be. We shouldn't be in the busing business.
School districts?
Right. Why should we be in the bus? Look, the carbon footprint. This is San Francisco.
So what would you do without busing? Well, actually, that's a stupid question because I know what you would do. You've only said it like 5 times on the show over the past year and a half. So, you know, personally, I don't like all 3 options, and I think they need to go back and be a little more creative.
That's not going to happen.
Of course,
that's not going to happen. That's not realistic. There's a timeline. They're marching along. They want it approved. They want to have community meetings to echo what they want to hear. Yeah, one of the groups.
Timeline's bogus.
Wait a second. One of the groups, which I won't mention the name, who got information last year, and they're testifying before the school board, and they say we got a lot of information from the parents, and they wanted to have local schools. But we're not going to recommend that. We don't agree with them. We think this one should happen. So why did you listen to the people if you didn't agree with them and you're going to recommend something else? That's nonsense.
But, you know, I mean, it's token public involved, right? I mean, it's
token
good governance is actually a better term because supposedly you want to go out and get your community feedback and you come in.
Okay, so you're saying we're being jerked around.
Yeah.
Okay, and they decided what they wanted and now they're making the noise around it?
Sure.
Is that,
I don't.
But you see, usually
honestly,
when you make a thing like this, you have 3 choices, and one of them's a throwaway. Okay. Old Chaim Ganat, who is a child psychologist, he gives you 3 choices, and you make one completely untenable that the child doesn't want. You give one that's moderate, and then one the direction that you want to go in. But these guys picked number 3, which was a throwaway.
The board.
Yeah.
But see,
that's not.
That shouldn't be perceived as a throwaway because
but it is the
you've
throwaway.
Been paying attention to the majority of that board.
We don't have $50 million.
If you've been paying attention to that board, you would know that 4 of them would pick number 3, right? And my impression is that
I thought they had better sense than to spend money that we don't have. We don't have $50 million to put into busing. We don't have the gas to waste. We don't have the money to waste. And we don't have the kids to waste. No one has said anything about educating kids. What's best for educating kids? The parents know what they want. Parents across the city are saying the same thing. We want local schools.
Sure.
And then people say, no, you really don't want that. Well, yes, they do. They want local schools.